It's time for the big conversations, telling stories of movers and shakers, of industry giants and daring professionals. It's time for the conversations that change your perspective on life, the kind of conversations that shape entrepreneurs and move careers forward. If you don't know where these conversations are found, we are sending you a GPS. But if you're listening to this voice right now, you are here. Welcome to the Growth Podcast. This is the GPS.
Mulibwanji, welcome to this episode of the Growth Podcast. We've been away for quite a period of time, but we are back. Thank you so much for all of you who support the podcast. Strangely, I've been receiving your money, and I'm very grateful that you guys keep supporting the podcast in small and big ways alike. We continue having these conversations to obviously help you grow, and I do hope that you are drawing good value from, these podcasts. I meet a lot of people that are really, very keen on these episodes, and I know that my guest won't disappoint. She's got a lot of gems to drop. My guest on the podcast this week is Dr. Kunda. I don't know her first name. That's not Dr. Kunda.
Kunda is actually my first name.
You're serious?
Yes. I'm Kunda Peri.
So you don't like Dr. Peri?
It's okay, but I feel like it sounds too serious. It's like too serious.
No, but even Kunda is a last name.
It is, but I just think it's like a bit, more friendly, more relatable, I think.
That's more relatable.
Yeah, I think.
Dr. Peri then brings in Dr. Manasseh Piri, it becomes too serious. I get your point.
Yeah, and I've met a lot of Dr. Piris as well. So
I want to separate yourself from the rest of the Dr. Piris. Yeah, so Dr. Peri here is a doctor, an earned doctorate, not those ones this is actually someone who went to school. How I met her is, a funny story. I saw a post on Facebook where they said, this lady has turned 30. She's a mother of twins. I don't know why that's right. I don't know what that has to do with the post. I said, no, she's a mother of 7-year-old twins, and she has gotten a 4th degree, and she's 30. Then I commented, I said, no, let's find her. And then someone came to my WhatsApp and said, I showed her your post. She's excited. Let's do this. And here we are. Thank you very much for coming. I wish guests were this easy to bring, just see them and then, But I feel like now it's easier because I think you know what the podcast is about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I think the podcast doesn't get those questions for what are we talking about? No hard questions. I think people really understand what we're trying to do. But thank you so much for having come here. Mm-hmm. I don't take it for granted, and I know that my audience don't as well. I've got some questions here. I told you I do have these questions.
Icebreaker questions.
Icebreaker questions.
Let's get
pick
into
any
it.
four. Pick any 4.
Any 4.
Yeah.
Any order, right?
Any order. Doesn't matter. Any color. I don't know if you're being methodical or whatever, but
I'll just get one of each. Or there are only 3 colors, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do 2 greens.
Okay, 2 greens. Good. I like it.
I hope I made a good choice. Can I see them now?
Yeah,
all
see
of them?
And that's a question. Yeah, so just flip it. Ask the question.
What choice had the greatest impact on your life? Wow, this is deep.
I know.
What choice had the greatest impact on my life? I think the career choices I've made. Yeah, in my studies and in my line of work, like the choices that have set me on this path. I think those were some of the most monumental moments for me. I remember, I don't know if we'll get into this, but I was in the School of Natural Sciences at UNZA, and it's like a bunch of you, and you have to decide whether you want to be a doctor, an engineer, but in the first year, you're taking the same courses. Yeah. And so it was a pivotal moment for me because I'd always said I wanted to be a doctor, but now I really had to decide, and I had to be sure, And I asked myself, what if I become a doctor and I don't like it? What if I'm just the most miserable doctor? And I prayed about it a lot. So I think that was one of the biggest moments, and I thank God that I made the choice that I did. So, yeah.
Okay. Next card.
Next card. What negative trait do you publicly laugh about, but secretly know you have to fix? Oh, my goodness. This is so deep. Publicly laugh about. Maybe my tendency to criticize. That this is not something that I should be saying, but
you like criticizing other people.
No, I just have a great attention to detail.
So typos, what and what?
Typos, but also personality traits. Like I notice things very easily. Very few things get past me.
But do you keep them to yourself or you tell the person?
I used to struggle to keep it to myself, but now I think I do a good job. But the thing is, I do that to other people because I do it to myself, which it's a double-edged sword, because on one hand, it helps me to be excellent at most things because I really, but then on the other hand, if I see it in other people, it's difficult sometimes for me to see past it. So I would say like, I like to criticize and laugh about it, but I know that's something I need to work on. So yeah. Next question.
Yeah.
In what areas of your life do you have a hard time telling the truth? Sometimes to my kids, because sometimes, you don't know. It's not good to lie as a parent as well, but also you can't tell a child everything because they don't have the capacity to handle everything, and there are just some even small things that, if you tell them the truth, you're going to get in trouble. Like if mommy was on a podcast, and my kids would like to do this too. So maybe I won't, mention it until later. So little things like that. So yeah, I probably should be more honest with my kids.
Last but not least.
What failure do you feel embarrassed to talk about? Embarrassed to talk about? I don't believe in making mistakes. I believe in subconsciously picking a lesson. So instead, like if I do something wrong, I say to myself, there's probably a greater part of me that knew that that's the lesson that I needed to make. So I make mistakes, but being embarrassed to talk about them, I'm an open book, to be honest. That's, no, I'm pretty open. So, yeah.
Okay. No, thank you for your honesty.
Thank you.
We hope you were honest.
Yeah, that's a great.
But they're very deep questions. I like these questions because they make you look within yourself. And I don't think you just sat one day and just thought, okay, what failure am I embarrassed to talk about? No, you don't think about those things. And also in the moment, the beauty with these also is you can't script them, because if I sent you these cards before,
I know. I would have rehearsed my answer.
Yeah. So tell me, for people who don't know Dr. Kunda Phiri, who are you?
Who am I? I'm a 30-year-old mom of twins. So when you said, I don't know why people had to talk about the twins, it's because I think the twins are more popular than I am. I don't know if you've seen some of the videos.
I've seen some of the videos.
They're hilarious. Yeah.
I think the latest one I saw was they're learning some table manners, etiquette.
Oh, yes, etiquette lessons.
Yeah.
So I'm a single mom of twins, 7-year-old twin girls, Chipo and Tinta. I'm a medical doctor. I'm a public health specialist. I'm a weight loss coach. So I'm really passionate about wellness. I've lost over 20 kgs myself, and I like to help other women achieve those results. I'm also a corporate wellness manager at MedLink Services Limited. What else do I do? I have 4 degrees.
We'll come to those.
We'll come to those, which is why I'm here. That's me. I think I'm just, I'm a simple person. I'm a lover of God. That's me.
Okay. Let's. I want to focus on the wellness bit for a little bit. I also will come to the 4 degrees. You said you lost 20 kg in a period of how long, and how did you do it?
That was in a period of about a year, and I did it through diet and exercise. So, just enforcing healthy habits. And this is something that I preach all the time. And I try to teach as many people about, because when people think about getting healthier and losing weight, the mind always goes to restricting. It means starving yourself and doing, extreme gym workouts. But no, it's not that. I like to think of it as, our body is always creating new cells. Like every single day, old cells are dying and new cells are being created. So what you need to ask yourself is, from the way I'm eating today, what kind of cells has my body made today? Because if you're overweight, right, you make enough good cells, the old cells are dying, you lose weight. That's how it works. You know what I mean? So it's not really the focus on what you have to cut out of your life or the losing. It's about thinking about the gaining. What healthy habits are you going to add into your life? So yeah, that's me, and that's what I advocate for.
Okay. So what do you eat? Okay, what don't you eat?
What don't I eat pretty much. Well, now I'm vegan.
You're scared to say everything.
Yes, because that's just too wide. But now I'm vegan. Not that you have to be vegan to lose weight. That's just a personal choice.
How long have you been vegan?
Since earlier this year, April. Yeah.
And when did you lose the 20 kg?
So before that, but it's been a journey. Like it's because it's not like 6 months and it's gone. It's like you lose the first 5, then you lose another 5. So I've been on this journey, I think seriously since late last year. Yeah. So most of the weight has fallen off since late last year to now. Yeah.
Okay. For others that struggle to lose weight, the frustration, and others even get to depression and whatnot, how easy is this journey? Or how hard is it? Because I can imagine 20 kg is almost like a bag of mini meal.
It's a lot of weight. It comes back to your why. Like, why do you want to lose weight? What's your intention with that? And just focusing on that, it gets hard, yes, sometimes, but I always encourage people to get their mind off the now, like, I want to lose this weight to fit into some jeans, and think about the bigger picture, like, what is the rest of your life going to look like? How will you age? So when you look at it long term, like something you're doing for your life, you really get your mind off the timeline even. I know the teen SMART goals stands for timeline, but when it comes to losing weight, I tell people to just get your mind off the timeline and just think about it as you're changing your life for good, because when you look at aging, people who age well, do you know Angela Bassett? Mm-mm. You don't? Okay, she's a popular American actress. She's
Give me a movie she did.
Oh my God, I can't remember the names. I don't watch movies these days.
What's the name again?
Angela Bassett. Yeah, you can just. She is famous for aging very well. Maybe oh my God, I forgot it. Dwayne Wade's wife, Gabrielle Union.
Gabrielle Union, yes.
She's in her what now? 50s?
Yes.
60s?
No, 60s. No.
Yeah, but she's in her 50s. And you see how she looks? Those things, I mean, I know we're using like famous people and people think it's money. But no, these people work on their health. Like they work on their bodies every single day. So aging well, it's not just about luck. It's not just about genetics. It has to be a deliberate process. What are you putting in your body? I mean, I don't know about you, but I want to keep this going for as long as I can, I want to hold on for as long as I can. So think about the bigger picture, the long term, not just, losing 5 to 10 kg to fit into some jeans. No, it's really about your health.
Okay. And you said you're a corporate wellness manager. Mm-hmm. The 4 degrees, let's go through them one by one. Which one was the first?
The first was my Bachelor of Science in Human Biology, which I got from UNZA.
When was that?
That was 2016.
And how old were you then?
Yeah. How old was I? 22? Yeah,
okay.
22. Because, you get that degree 4 years into medicine. Yeah, so from 2012 to 2016, that was my first degree. My second degree was Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery, which I got in 2019. Yeah, that's what you get now after 7th year. Yeah. And then 2020, I started studying for my master's degree in public health. Yeah, which I finished in 2023. Then January of 2022. So yes, I'll be the first to admit that it was a bit ambitious, a bit crazy, because at some point I was doing 2 at the same time. So in January of 2022, I was doing I signed up for my master's MBA in project management, which I just finished, which makes 4. And in the same year, it was crazy. I was doing the 2 degrees, and I was also making like a big career change from clinical medicine, because I used to be, before I started the corporate wellness thing, I was like a doctor in a hospital. Yeah, so I moved from there to start my fellowship. I did a fellowship with Global Health Corps. Yeah. For 13 months. So I was making that change as well. It was like new work environment. It was like a really big change. It was a very long year for me, but here we are. Yeah.
One would ask, why the 4 degrees? Why?
Why the 4 degrees? That's an important question, honestly, because I mean, you don't want to just be getting degrees for nothing, right? so I just have a very clear direction of where I want to go in my life. And having that vision, I just felt no need to delay it. There's also certain other things, other parts of my life that are important to me, to an extent where I don't want to be in school forever. I don't want to do a master's degree and then take a 2-year break to come and do another one. I want to focus on other things. I would like to someday grow my family. I would like time like I have now, with school out of the way, to grow my business, grow my career, and really focus on stacking those results, so that when a time comes when I should get a PhD, it should be something of note. I want to go to Harvard. I want to go to the best schools. So, yeah, for me, there was just no need to delay it.
Okay. So just to go through, you said human biology was the first one. Mm-hmm. Then the 7th year, you got which one?
Medicine and surgery.
Medicine and surgery. Mm-hmm. The project management was the fourth, right?
Was the fourth.
The third one was what?
Public health, master's degree in public health.
Master's in public health.
Public health, MPH, yeah.
So tell me the rationale. Human biology and the medicine, obviously they are connected. Mm-hmm. Tell me what made you say, let me go do a master's in public health.
I always knew deep down that I would not be a regular doctor in a regular hospital. There's just, I had that feeling about myself. We'd be doing rounds at UTH, and I would admire the people teaching me. And, I'm a very visualistic person. I like to visualize things and imagine myself in that position. And I tend to think things happen faster that way. But for some reason, I would never see myself being like a senior doctor in a hospital. I never saw that happening. So when I started to practice, I enjoyed it. It was a great experience. I loved my clinical experience. I was in Chinsali. I got some really good experience. But I felt, the need to be on the preventive end of things. I realized I wasn't meant to be on the curative part. I wanted to prevent disease before it even happens. So that's what prompted the master's degree in public health. I said, let me dip my feet into it. Let me see. And I that's why I did that. And the MBA. Or should I go to the MBA now? It's like I'm answering the question. Yeah. So with the MBA, now at that point, I said, okay, I know the clinical part, I know the public health part, but I always knew as well that I want to be a very business-oriented person. And I know, of course, you don't have to have an MBA to do business, or even to be good at business, But I think if you are trying to do something, you want to work with corporate entities, it's not enough just to be street smart. There's a level where if you want to operate at a certain level, you need to understand the language. It's not enough just to have, you know what I mean? Like, how to sell, yes, but can you speak the language? How do you hold yourself in business meetings? I wanted to have a bit of that, more business etiquette, more business savvy, just have that knowledge. And I thought, why not do an MBA? Plus, I also wondered whether I, after doing all these sciences, like, am I still smart enough to do something in business? Like, can I do it? So it was kind of a challenge for me. And also, people have this thing like doctors are not good at business. Some even say doctors are broke. Dare I say that? But yeah, I'm sure you've heard stuff like that, right? So yeah, this is me just saying, okay, well, let's see, watch this space and take notes. So yeah, that's why I went for the MBA, and I'm glad I did. Because I feel like an MBA is one of those programs that teaches you things that you didn't know. There's those little gaps in my knowledge that it really filled in. Even just outside of like just business, when you look at the course content, best decision I ever made. So yeah.
All right. There are some people, both young and old alike, who you do a program. Mm-hmm. You realize, this is not for me, but I've already spent money. I'm in third year. Let me just finish, and they go ahead, they finish. And they feel like, look, what I actually wanted to do was something else. But I don't have the money for me to, go and do another degree or another, master's. So let me then work and then change careers. But others then, when they work, they feel like, again, go back to school. How do I give myself the momentum to still go back to school and do something that I'm actually passionate about? Because mostly first degrees, there's influence from family. Your father was paying. No, you can't go. There's a girl that called me and says, Sui, I see you as a journalist. I want to do journalism, but my parents are telling me there's no money. So they want me to do something else. So the girl will go and do what the parents want to do. But at some point, she wants to do what she really wants to do. So then how do I then still find a way of doing what I want to do, but seeing that I spent 4 years in school to go back 4 years again, how do I still keep that passion for actually doing what I want to do?
Okay. My advice would be, and you're very right in saying that, first degree, we don't know what we want. Even when you're saying, oh, I want to be a doctor, you only find out what it is to be a doctor when you become a doctor. You know what I mean? And sometimes it can be like, oh, this is not what I signed up for. So yeah, my advice would be follow your passion still. Like, even if I know a lot of people who do things that have nothing to do with their first degrees. And in a lot of jobs, to be honest, it's just important to have a degree. Sometimes it's not even like what a degree really is. You know what I mean? So I would say follow your passion. Like, if you want to be a journalist and you end up doing something else, also be creative, spin it. For instance, I'm a doctor and I'm a weight loss coach. Some people would think those things are, like different, or I'm a doctor and I have an MBA, maybe I always wanted to do business, like find a way to still do that thing that keeps you up at night, that little whisper in your heart, because I think that's what really sets you on the path that God wants you on. Yeah.
Hi guys, thank you so much for your support that you give to the podcast. We don't take it for granted. If you feel that the content on the podcast is worth it, it's valuable, that you learn something, we are asking you to support us even further with your financial contribution. That way, you help us to meet our costs and we keep the lights on, and we make sure that the podcast is always available to you. You can do so by sending a contribution to any of the numbers that are showing right below. We thank you for supporting the Growth Podcast.
Ever since you got your first degree, have you ever had a period where you were unemployed?
So after first degree because I was still in school for my second, but I'm always doing something. Like, I'm not a person who's not doing anything. So even after my first degree, I was lecturing at UNZA, School of Adult Education. I was lecturing some diploma students because I had a degree at the time. After I got my second degree, that's when I actually became a doctor. I started my weight loss coaching business, which I've been doing now for over 5 years. And that was keeping me pretty busy. Then I got employed in 2020. That's by the government. And then since then I moved on to the fellowship. Then after the fellowship, I continued with my weight loss coaching because now I wanted to, really take it seriously, and I grew it quite a lot. And here I am. So I'm always doing something. Like, I've never had a period in my life where, it's just like dormant. No, it's just not like me.
Okay. Some people believe that the more educated you are, the harder it is to find a job, because they'll tell you that you're overqualified.
I can't really, the harder it is to find a job, no. It depends, like, how you are putting.
Look, this is the rationale, right? That is there. So here is Dr. Kunda. She applies for a job. In the advert we put out, we said we want someone with a master's degree, or maybe want a business degree, and a master's degree would be an added advantage. So to them, one master's is added advantage. Then here comes this person, you've got 3 masters, you've got 5 degrees. The company is thinking, look, if we employ Dr. Kunda won't last here because she'll constantly be looking for another job because she's not satisfied. She thinks because she's got these degrees, she must get this kind of money, and we can't afford to give her that money. And so we'll have to advertise again. And recruitment also is a process, and business operations may be disturbed because this person who was there just stayed 3 months. And then sometimes also some people who may be very qualified will accept the job because I've got bills to pay. I can't just sit at home. Let me accept this for now. Why I look for the thing I think I deserve. You get the point, right? So the companies go like, no, this one won't stay. And so they will not give you the opportunity. Not because you're qualified or you're not good enough. You are. But they just feel like you won't stay. You're looking at UN, shine. And it's true. You get the point, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. that is rationale behind my question.
I hear what you're saying. I think it depends, with the kind of job you're applying for again. And I would say, as a young person who has a lot of qualifications, sometimes, there have been times in my career when I felt like I'm overqualified to be doing this. You know what I mean? But just like growing a business takes time, growing a career also takes time. It doesn't mean, it's one thing to have papers, but you also need experience. And experience is very important. So you have to give room, allow yourself to grow. You have to grow in your career. You have to grow in your salary scale. Just because you have 2 degrees or whatever many doesn't mean it's going to come like that, And with that also, you need to take very targeted steps in what you're doing. Like it needs to be very intentional. Like I just gave you the rationale for getting all of those degrees. I had a reason. I have a direction I'm going in, So even the type of jobs, it's not just chipante-pante. Like I'm not just going to apply for anything. I'm going in a certain direction. So you have to be very deliberate. That's what I would say.
Okay, I want you to cockle up on the point you said about more money, because I read somewhere that just because you go get a master's or another degree doesn't mean we should pay you more money in your organization. And so many young people, they have the first degree. Maybe you're a clinical officer, for example. I'll use that. Then you go and get a master's, and you think automatically they must increase your salary because guys have got a master's now. First of all, that's not how it works. But then also, how do you avoid that frustration where you feel because I've got degrees, I should get more money? And then in the company, you look at the other person who's getting more money than you and they only have a degree. They don't even have a master's. And yet here I've got 4 of them.
Yeah, I think as a young person, it's also important to know, when you get another qualification or whenever you're looking to increase your pay, you need to increase your self-worth as well. You need to increase, you need to put some more respect on your own name before someone else can put some respect on your name. So as a young person as well, it's important to know when to switch lanes. There comes a time when you say, okay, so I have this and this is my worth. If I'm not getting it, I should talk to someone who will see me, for my worth. So yeah, I know it's scary to take career risks, like, moving on maybe from a position, but that's something that I have some experience with, and it takes guts. You just have to have that faith. Someone said, you see the areas of your life you can identify where you don't have faith in your life based on where you're settling for less. So you can be going to church every Sunday and praying, I have faith, but you keep going back to the job you hate. Then you don't have faith. You know what I mean? Then you don't. Not really. You don't, because that means that's the area of your life where you think, if I moved on from this thing that's making me miserable, God won't provide for me. That's what you're saying, and sometimes, the best way to demonstrate faith is through action. You have to release something before God can give you something new. That's just how it works. So when it comes to careers, this is something that a lot of young people I know are scared to do, but it has to be done. If you are going to go up, sometimes you need to release something to receive something better.
Okay. My next question, I'll take a gamble with this question. I may be wrong, but chances of me being wrong are very slim.
Okay.
You report to someone at your place of work, and I can guarantee that, I cannot guarantee, but I will assume strongly that you are most likely more qualified than they are. Or you got more qualifications than they have. They may beat you on experience.
Yeah.
But they may most likely have lesser qualifications than you do in terms of the number. Maybe they've got a degree and a master's, but maybe, anyway, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. But like I said, I'm taking a gamble, okay? I don't want you to shake your head and say, yes, I'm more qualified than them. Your boss might be watching this. No. But I'm just trying to lay the groundwork for my next question. Most people report to people who are less qualified than they are. And so then that breeds some insecurity in the organization. In them, not the whole organization, but in them. So you find the way they treat you is different. When you just had 1 degree, you were okay. Like, yeah, now you've got 3. Why are you gunning for my job? I don't know, you get a point, right?
Yeah.
And so you find that your superior is then a bit insecure. Other people even struggle just to get leave to go and study because the boss doesn't support that and whatnot. And it's a real struggle for most people. For you, how do you handle your education? Do you go around throwing your weight around the company? That I can easily find a job if you guys, okay, I know you don't go to that extreme, but you get my point with my question.
I get your point. First of all, I'm blessed to be in an environment where getting more qualifications is actually encouraged. It's celebrated, it's encouraged. I remember when I made that post, I received congratulations, and it really warmed my heart because that's a very healthy, work environment. And obviously, in a situation where that's not the case and people are feeling threatened, then that's not very healthy. That's not a good environment to be in. But also, I think it's also on the personal level in terms of how you yourself carry it. To be honest with you, I don't really, it's just normal for me. I'm not really going around I have 4 degrees, so you need to treat me, a certain way. And also I know where I am in terms of my experience and where I want to go. And I think one of my favorite attributes about myself is my willingness to learn. I will learn from anyone. I'm telling you, I will learn from anyone. And I've done this throughout my career. When I had to switch from clinical medicine, coming into the corporate space, I had a lot to learn. Because I was going from being a doctor on the ward to now sitting at a desk. There are certain soft skills that I didn't have. And I learned a lot from the people around me. So I'm very willing to learn. I think a lot of people probably just now know because of, the social media publicity that I have as many qualifications as I do. Because I don't go around, just talking about them. And I think that if you do that, that's one way you can close yourself off from learning from others, because my philosophy is I like to be the least smartest person in a room. If I'm with people and I'm the smartest person there, then I'm not in the right room because that means I have the least to learn. You're
just giving away.
Yeah, I'm just giving. So I should be somewhere where I'm feeling okay, everyone here is at least, many people, do we have some water? Many people here are smarter than me. That way I can actually learn from others, and I'll be the luckiest person actually there if I'm learning the most. You get what I mean? Yeah. And this is something that has served me, I think, throughout my life. I remember being at UNZA. The School of Natural Sciences was really hard. It was really hard. The additional mathematics there was crazy. So I would be in these study groups, and I would make sure I'm in the study groups with the smartest people, the smartest people I can find. That's who I wanted to hang out with. And that's what helped me, have a very smooth ride, even academically and professionally. Thank you so much.
All right. I know you've touched a bit on it, but I also wanted to maybe ask it as a fully fledged question. How do you complement your education? Because education alone is not enough, because even companies don't hire you because you've got 4 degrees. They hire you because you're bringing value to the organization. Because if degrees were, all they took, it means everyone with a degree will be employed. But there's some things that you need to, for you to be, like you said, for you to be a fully fledged candidate for any kind of role that you have. Yes, the education is the foundation. Before we even talk to you, give us your education. But yes, when you go for interviews, okay, oh, good, 4 degrees, okay, good. Yeah, the degrees, you put them aside. Now the person. You get the point, right? How do you complement your education to make sure that you are a person of value to not just your organization, but your environment as well?
That's a very important question. I think I would say personal development. So I work on myself tirelessly. It goes from my physical in terms of losing all of that weight, but even just my character, I work on that. I work on surrounding myself with good people, and also there are certain career decisions that I've made, things like the Global Health Core Fellowship, which has put me in a position where I learn leadership skills, so it's those little skills that you perhaps do not learn in class. You need to add that to yourself as well. Leadership skills, public speaking skills, that's really important. People want to hire someone who can speak in a meeting,
Yeah.
So you can be good at the books, but then how do you talk to people, diplomacy, tact, So those skills I think are quite important.
All right. So at work, what do they call you?
Dr. Kunda.
Dr. Kunda. Oh, so you told him not Dr. Peri, it's Dr. Kunda.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel when someone comes and says Miss Kunda or Miss Peri?
It depends the context, but I'll tell you something. As a female doctor, this is something that I've experienced. I unfortunately even experienced in professional settings, like even back when I used to work in the hospital, you would find that certain people would call other people doctor except me. I experienced that, and at first I was naive. I was like, oh, well, maybe she just made a mistake, but then I would notice that this particular person, I will refer to one scenario in particular, we would be on around, oh, doctor this, and Kunda, and I at first I thought, no, it's just a mistake. But then I realized, no, this person is actually doing this on purpose. And there'll be people like that. And I'll tell you what, 99% of people when they meet me will call me Dr. Kunda. So the 1% that doesn't always stands out and it doesn't escape my notice. And I've realized sometimes, some people are like ignorant, right? And we forgive them for that. But then other times there are people who sometimes will have an inferiority complex because of the title attached to my name. And those are the people that I will now detach myself from. Like I will avoid someone like that because they will want to eliminate the title, just call me Kunda, because in their mind it levels the playing field, on some level. And I'm afraid of that because what else are you willing to do to level that imaginary playing field that's in your mind? But then, of course, after we talk and we get to know each other, you are of course going to drop the title and it's just Kunda and it's Suilanji, right? So yeah, I pay close attention to that. I'm not going to lie; it doesn't escape my notice. But yeah.
Have you ever corrected someone?
Yes, sometimes I do, actually. Sometimes I do, especially if it's a professional setting. Because, in a professional setting, it has implications.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of my job, it needs to be there. It's a requirement. You know what I mean? So if you are addressing me without the title, that means something. So yeah. But of course, in social things, it's usually okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got two I don't know, 2 daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you are someone that really values education given, what you've achieved. If your twins decide, mommy, I want to do music, I don't want to do school, what are you going to do?
I said to myself, I will consider myself a successful parent if my children can pursue their passions. If my children can do something for the love of it. I think that to me would be ultimate financial freedom, like setting that up in such a way that my kids can actually do what they love. They want to be doctors because they see mommy being a doctor and they think it's the coolest thing on earth. But I would allow them to do what they love, to be honest, as long as, it doesn't stray from the values that I've imparted in them and it brings some value to someone other than themselves. Yeah.
Okay. I saw on social media you posted the other day that I can't remember the exact post, but something about a husband or something like that.
Oh my God!
I wanted to ask you.
Not you too.
Do you? No. My question is: do you feel that sometimes people feel threatened to approach you because of the level of academic prowess that you've had, given how qualified you are, and so people feel like that inferiority, like I'm not good enough for this woman, and do you ever feel that, or have you ever experienced that? Where, for example, someone will see you and then maybe they go and Google you, go, hey.
Yeah. It happens a lot, but I'm okay with it. It used to bother me. But then I realized if you disqualify yourself, then you're giving me less work to do, which is good. If you are intimidated, if someone is intimidated by me, that's useful information for me because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm making myself, I'm turning it down, I'm making myself less than to make someone else feel bigger. I don't want that. So.
Have you ever, and that's my next question. Have you ever had to shrink yourself for you to fit into someone else's box?
Yes. I've done that for most of my life and I'll never ever do it again. So yeah, no, it's not for me. I would love to be with someone who not just values it, but loves that about me. It needs to be, so it has to be someone obviously who's at least as ambitious as I am. Yeah.
Okay. And your academic future, are you still bagging more degrees, or you're done now? It's time for you to live a normal life.
Yeah, PhD, of course. PhD, but PhD for me is it's going to be my life's work, so I want to stack some results before then. It's obviously going to be something aligned to like nutrition or wellness, the thing that's closest to my heart. And I want it to be from, Harvard at the very least, I need to, that's my dream.
What's wrong with UNZA?
I mean, I have 3 degrees now from UNZA. I think that's enough.
Okay, maybe let me rephrase the question. What's wrong with a degree from maybe within the country or in Kenya? Because why I ask is because I've seen that there are a lot of Zambians, and I say this to someone else, that you find most CEOs in this country. Look at bank CEOs, you find they have an MBA from Manchester Business School. Everyone goes to go to Harvard and whatnot. I know it's some sense of achievement. Mm-hmm. But then what are we saying about our own qualifications if everyone says, because I'd like someone from the US to go like, I want to go to UNZA.
It's a nice dream, but we're not there yet, We're not there yet. And I think I've got enough qualifications from here. We've definitely represented home ground. And it would be nice as well to say this Black Zambian doctor, with an MBA from UNZA has gone to Harvard. Isn't that a win for us too?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's because it's, yeah.
What kind of student were you? Were you like Munduku Clear, or you were... Or you're going for the A+?
In the beginning, I was going for the A+. But eventually, UNZA School of Medicine is something else. So, but yeah, I always got decent grades. I'm smart. Like, smart.
Do you mentor young people?
I do mentor young people. I started an organization called Doctors Leadership Academy, DLA. So we do mentorship for early career medical doctors and medical students. Yeah, it's quite exciting. We actually have a summit on the 12th.
Okay. But do you have plans of going back to practice?
In the hospital setting, no. Maybe hospital administration I can do, but practicing, unless it's something aligned with wellness. Like one of my dreams is to open up a weight loss clinic, like a specialized weight loss clinic or wellness center, where we actually teach people how to, impart healthy eating and exercise and lose tremendous amounts of weight. Because I'm sure obesity is on the rise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also non-communicable diseases.
Yeah, and WHO says obesity actually is going to be one of the leading causes of death by like 2030.
Wow.
And associated NCDs. So, yeah.
So if you don't practice, this is a very, very, I don't want to say dumb question, but because I think it's a good question somehow. Mm-hmm. If you don't practice, won't you forget?
Well, yeah, I mean.
Because I'm thinking, like, you find yourself someone is sick and you can't do anything because you forgot. It's been a long time since I did this.
Yeah, that's a possibility. That's a risk I'm unfortunately willing to take. But I mean, the work I'm doing is impactful. It's important and it's needed, and someone has to do it too.
10 years from now, where's Dr. Peri? I mean, Dr. Kunda.
Wow, 10 years from now will be crazy. 10 years from now, Dr. Kunda will probably have gotten her Harvard PhD by then. Dr. Kunda would have grown her platform to, enormous numbers, impacting the world, impacting people, imparting people with healthy habits, still raising her kids, hopefully with someone by her side by then. Loving God, loving life. Yeah.
Okay. As we come to an end, my last question for you is, what 5 things would you give as advice to young people?
5 things. Okay, number 1, I would say is adopt a positive mental attitude. So positive mindset is key. One of the most common comments I saw as I was reading through the Facebook post that went viral was people saying, oh, she has those degrees because she has this privilege. She has this privilege. And it's funny because people don't realize that when you say this person only achieved this because of this, this, and this. What you're telling your subconscious mind is,
I can't do it.
Yes. You're saying the reason I can't do it is this.
I don't have.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, whatever it is you say about yourself becomes true. It becomes true. So if you say, oh, you only got this because of that, you're right. It will never happen for you, because you think it can't happen for you.
Yeah, it's actually people we've got connections. Others are connected. So it means you will never be connected.
Exactly.
So instead of working on how do I get connected?
I know.
You're pointing out, she got it because she's connected. Yeah, that's a good point.
And did you know that 79% of millionaires are actually self-made? 79% of millionaires actually come from nothing. So if you're going to be connections, you're just wasting your energy on the wrong things. So think the most positive things you can think about yourself. Some people look at my life and say, oh, but you're so happy, you're so lucky. Yeah, you're a doctor with it. Do you know how easy it would be for me to wake up every day and hate my life? Like, everyone has problems. It could have been very easy for me to wake up and say, oh no, I'm disadvantaged. I'm raising these kids by myself. No one has to, there's so many things that I could complain about, But would I be seated here with Suilanji Siame today if I had adopted that attitude, So think positive things about your life, I think, would be my number one.
Okay.
Number two is deliberately investing in personal development. So surround yourself with people who can teach you something, and it's not... because your network is your net worth, right? So if you have friends around you who are not adding value to your life, then that's where you're ending up as well. It's a reflection of where you're going. So surround yourself with good people, invest in personal development. Then third, I would say, is the law of compounding interest. I like this one. The law of compounding interest. So this means you wake up every day, you have... First of all, dream the biggest dream for yourself you can possibly dream, if it's like going to Harvard or beyond, And then wake up every day and just take some step, even just one step in that direction. And over time, those little steps, they add up, and they add up to big results. Me being here today was, it's just one bite-sized piece out of the dream every single day, but going in the same direction. So you need to have a clear vision of what that direction is. It can't just be... Sometimes, we'll say you're dreaming this, but your body is going this way. Then you're never going to get there. It needs to be your soul, your mind, your body in one direction. Yeah, that's 3. Gosh, I've said so many. If you add them up, it's probably 5.
Okay, no, but thank you so much for coming through. Yeah, on social media, we just see this bubbly, single mom, doctor, with kids here and there. But really, there's a lot that you give out. And, well, I've felt it from this conversation. And I know that those who have watched this are actually seeing, who you actually are. And for me, it's good sitting next to someone who's educated because they get my questions,
Oh my God.
You get my questions. And for me, it's a good thing. So, yeah, wishing you the best in everything that you're doing. I think even for me now, I'm paying more attention to you because now after this, I feel like I know you. I know where you're coming from and I know where you're going. And so even when I follow you, I am seeing the intentionality to every action, to everything you post on social media. I connect it to a story. And I know that it's not just, because I'm posting because, that could be boring, but because it's actually feeding into something. And when you said compounding interest, took my attention to the book Atomic Habits. There's a part in the book in the very beginning, I think it must be the first chapter, where he says, and I'm paraphrasing to the Zambian context, he said if a plane left the KK International Airport and it tilted he said 3 degrees, 3 degrees. It was supposed to go to Ndola. Just that tilt, it may end up in Livingston. Okay? So just a small action then, okay, will look like it's insignificant. But in the long term, the results, because that's small action. So, yeah, for me, it speaks to what you've said. And, yeah, we'll be following you. And in the future, when you graduate summa cum laude at Harvard, we'll come again and sit down and say,
you get the vibes.
6 degrees, But obviously, also, I look forward to a point where 4 degrees won't be an achievement in this country. You get a point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to a time when it won't be an achievement.
It's like no more. It's like,
It's like, yeah. Because the last time there was a guy, Ade, from Nigeria. He sat in that very chair. And you know what he said? He has, is it 4 or 5? I don't know. Were you there when Ada came? Yeah, I must
Degrees,
be,
right?
And he's Nigerian.
Wow.
But he said in Nigeria it's nothing.
Yeah.
He's in Nigeria. He says Nigeria is nothing. He said Nigeria, if you get a degree and you're not educated, you're not employed, that degree is losing value. So go and get another one. You get a point, right? Go and get another.
You have to update your degree.
Exactly. Because look, you go and say, no, job interview, I've got 4 degrees. We just interviewed the guy with 6 degrees. You get a point. So you really constantly have to keep catching up.
That's a good one.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
And I hope that it was a lunchtime well spent.
It was. It really was. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we look forward to having you again in the future.
Awesome.
All right, thank you very much. Hi guys, thank you so much for your support that you give to the podcast. We don't take it for granted. If you feel that the content on the podcast is worth it, it's valuable, that you learn something, we're asking you to support us even further with your financial contribution. That way, you help us to meet our costs and we keep the lights on and we make sure that the podcast is always available to you. You can do so by sending a contribution to any of the numbers that are showing right below. We thank you for supporting the Growth Podcast.